Well, hello there. Back for episode number 2 in this series between Shin and Hamburgersasu. In the previous episode, we had Hamburgersasu take one game of Shin, but Shin also took a game away from Hamburgersasu. So that means that it's time to go into game number 3 without any more wasting of time, because we want to know how this series meets its conclusion. Let's move into the game and get ourselves up and running and see how this Protoss versus Zerg, with Hamburgersasu on the Zerg and Shin on the Protoss, is going to play out. Now, I have to add a little bit of a fix. I have to correct myself from something I said yesterday. And that is that it is not a best of 5, but they are playing 6 games in a row of every single matchup except the mirror matchups. So we're going to be seeing Protoss versus Zerg for both players, and then a Terran versus Zerg for both players as well. And we have already seen the Protoss versus Terran for both players too. Now, this should be interesting, because Shin is going for a proxy mid-gate, which is something we almost never see done in the Korean scene. It is a very rare thing to see proxy mid-gate. In the foreign scene, you pretty much see this every single game you get a Protoss. There's a very high chance that you will see this exact build order that Shin is doing right here, right now. Because, well, it gives you a very strong rushing potential, and you notice that he's pulling, in total, a number of 3 probes into the middle to place them here, all around the hatchery. Also, he's going to add either a 3rd gateway, or he's going to stay on 2. That's fine as well. You can stay on 2. Most of the time, people go for 3, but he stays on 2, and there's no forge anywhere yet. And it's just disrupting the income from Hamburgersasu here in the base by using his probes to harass the drones. Now, do notice that Hamburgersasu is not deciding or electing to build a 3rd hatchery in the base, and he's saving up his larva to build 3 Zerglings, and also 2 Zerglings, 1 group of Zerglings here in the front. So you'll have 8 Zerglings in total, ready to fight back against the incoming Zealots. But the Zealots are out pretty early, and they're already gonna be spawning before or right around the time that this Sunken there is gonna be coming up, or gonna be placed down. He builds a shield battery there in the back as well. He's got 8 Zerglings there on the way. 6 of them have spawned there in the back. He's killing the drones. He didn't manage to stop the Sunkens, or at least crew colonies, from being placed. So at least this one will finish, as the Zerglings are now coming and he cancels that one. Pretty smartly done. The shield battery finishes up, so he has at least some health that he can use to restore the shields on the Zealots. Zealots are still fighting. More Zealots are spawning and on the way. The control from both players here is phenomenal, but it looks like Hamburgersasu comes out on top as he gets that Sunken up and gets his other Sunken up as well. And now he walls up the front there with the Sunken. Now the probes and the Zealots are hunting for some drone lives. But more Zerglings are spawning here. Hamburgersasu is on the way to defend this one really, really well. But he did get slowed down tremendously. He has 6 drones left, and he has a lot of Zerglings that he now has to start using to deal some damage with on his opponent. So the pylon went down, which means that Shin is currently supply blocked and waiting for pylons to finish it in the back. He builds a forge, builds a nexus, and Hamburgersasu clears out the Zealots, and now he's going for the counterattack because he knows that there's probably 2 Zealots here on the middle, and he knows the location where Shin is located, and he sees that there's a cannon on the way, and he wants to at least do some damage and make sure that Shin is not getting away with this rush without taking damage, without being slowed down, because while Hamburgersasu can slow down himself, the micro here is pretty good, but it looks like Hamburgersasu... Oh, the micro, the Zealot control is really good. He keeps stutter-stepping and kills as many Zealots or Zerglings as he can. And I think he killed about 7 Zerglings there. It was a 12 against 7 or something. A 2 against 12, and he killed most of them. Which also means that Hamburgersasu has less offensive ability now that he's lost most of the Zerglings. But he can at least take down these 2 cannons here, these 2 gateways here on the middle, and start thinking about getting an economy running. Now, because both players lost a couple of drones and probes, Shin lost 3 probes, Hamburgersasu lost, I think, 2 drones, and, well, he had to use 3 other drones as well to build these Sunkens here in the front, so his economy is not in a great place, but he is pretty much on the same spot as Shin is right now. And Shin doesn't have a lot of offensive ability. And the offensive ability that Shin does have, Hamburgersasu can see it. He's got the Overlord hanging there in the base. He can see everything. He can see the gateways. He can probably see the tech here that's going to be going down as well, depending on where Shin decides to place his tech. You can decide to place it here, outside the vision. I think this one is just within... No. Very smartly placed outside of the vision range there from Shin. Exactly outside of the vision range. Fight's still happening there in the middle. He managed to kill both two Zealots here on the middle, so he can continue killing the gateway. So 21 probes out now for Shin, of which 6 are on the gas, and the other 20 are, well, not 20, the other 16 are mining minerals. There's a lot of gas that he's got coming in, whereas Hamburgersasu is adding on a lot of hatcheries. Already has a Hydralisk Den on the way. He wants to have real hard punching power very quick and early. But I do feel that having all that punching power on a very low economy might not be the best choice against his +1 Nexus option, because Shin is deciding to go for mostly units and a very small drop tech build order. He's got 4 gateways for units. Hamburgersasu is still scouting. Zealots are going cross-map. The choke here is getting filled up and made harder to get through. He can probably walk through with a couple of those zealots. Or maybe he's just going to go for the attack. He's going to go for the walkthrough. What does Hamburgersasu have there in the back? He's got nothing in the back, really. He sacrificed all of his units, so now all the zealots are still alive, somehow. This is very dangerous. This is pretty much... I want to call this a death sentence. This is very bad for Hamburgersasu. If he had managed to keep those zealots out of his base by not throwing away his Zerglings so greedily, he could very easily have defended this and prevented any economic damage from occurring, but he got slowed down pretty significantly. He had to take, I think, about 7 or 8 drones off the minerals, and he lost 4 of them in total, which is really bad. He got slowed down a lot. And now we are looking at 32 probes against 20 drones. Now, if he had placed Zerglings right here in this little pathway, he would have been fine, and he would probably have been on 36 or 40 drones already, because all these Zerglings you're looking at here would have been at least 1 drone per 2. And he had lost lining time as well, so he got slowed down significantly, which gives Shin the opportunity to just commit completely to the Reavers and the shuttles that he's going to use to try and break in through the front. He's got Zealot speed already finished up. There's no scarab damage, no shuttle speed on the way. The shuttle is finished, and he's waiting for the 2 Reavers to finish as well, while he's also, at the same time, still building the Zealots. So he's going to try to bust in through the front. Going to let the Reavers here, once they finish, and then, you know, pick off those Sunkens from a distance, and then try to run those Zealots in. Or at least that's what I thought he would do. He's going to shuttle those Zealots in, instead of waiting for the Reavers to arrive. But that's going to be 3, I think, about 7. Maybe he's going to put these in the... shuttle these over as well. So we're looking at 11 Zealots in Hamburgersasu's base, but Hamburgersasu already caught on to it. He has the Zealots, he has the Zerglings and the Hydralisk. Got some sweet Hydralisk might be there as well. No Hydralisk range, but he did have Hydralisk speed. But there's still a bunch of Zealots there in his base. And the Reavers here in the back have spawned, which is going to pick up after he lands those Zealots. And he's going to try to keep these Zealots alive, or at least kill Hydralisk with, as he goes back, moves back to pick up those 2 Reavers. The fight happening here in the base. The micro from both players is pretty spot on. But the micro from Hamburgersasu is, in this case, a little bit better. That's also because Shin is focusing on producing and on picking up those Reavers that he's got there in the middle of the map. So he killed the Zealots. He is safe for now. He's on 31 drones, has a little bit of overmind, but he'll be spending that very soon as he is, well, right now, free to do so. So there on the top side, we've got another 2 set of Reavers on the way. Well, 2 shuttles on the way here on the bottom side, but they are completely empty. So I assume this is going to be a distraction drop, or distraction shuttles. They're going to get spotted out by, hopefully it's going to get spotted out by at least some of these Zerglings, or the Overlord there. Alright, he gets spotted out by the 2 Zerglings, so now Hamburgersasu knows that it's coming, but he might not have seen it. Now is the hour of truth. All of his Hydralisks are on the bottom side of the base. Shuttle comes in from the top side, but the shuttle from the top side is going to get intercepted. No! All the Reavers are down on the low ground. The Reavers are shooting all the drones. The drones are running away to safety. The Scarab is not going to explode, and all the drones there are staying alive. So he took care of both of them just within the nick of time. Although this... No, this Reaver on the top side. He didn't see the Reaver. He did not see the Reaver. He didn't see the Reaver. Oh, no. Oh, the Scarab is not exploding. The Scarab... Hamburgersasu is the luckiest man. Oh, he still loses 3 of them. 4. He loses 4 drones. But he's the luckiest man alive. I never saw Hamburgersasu make a mistake quite like that one. That could have just ended the game. I've never seen him just leave a Reaver alive by accident, thinking it was already gone, but it was alive. Another shuttle drop there on the top side. We've got no shuttles on the bottom side. He is clearing out some of these Zerglings, but the Zerglings have been burrowed up, so he does have vision from those burrowed Zerglings still. And they're all over the map, so that's a lot of vision he's getting. Drop comes in for the top side, drop comes in for the front side as well, but the drop on the top is the real one. It turns around, drop the other one. The shuttle that is distracting flies away. He's actually flying away with both of them, so we can regroup and send in a stronger drop. Maybe he is going for 3 drops at the same time. Make it extra difficult for Hamburgersasu to split up his attention for all those different shuttles that are going to be coming and flying in, threatening his drones. So we've got level 1 attack finished for Shin. We have level 1 attack for Hylists on the way for Hamburgersasu. He has, I think, about 3 groups of Hylists ready to defend, which I hope is enough. It might not be, but I hope it is. 4 Templars in that shuttle. Got 2 Reavers in that shuttle, and this one is empty. Every single shuttle has been spotted out by a unit, except these. He picked up some Zealots as well. Drop from the top side, goes in, goes out. Drop from the bottom side, comes in. Templars start unloading. Oh, he dodges the snow. He dodges the storm almost entirely. That's a lot of Templars. Oh, more Templars have spawned. More Templars are spawning. He kills a couple more drones. And the drones there, most of them staying alive. He manages to somehow keep the storms away from the drones. And I think he lost about 10 of them. So, in the end, he manages to keep the damages to a minimum, even though the drone pool was a little bit late, and the storm was almost exactly on all the drones. But now comes the frontal attack with the Reavers, the Zealots, and the Doom. Another drop there flying to the top side there, because he... Well, another 3 Templars and 4 Zealots. This one on the bottom side is 4 Zealots. He's not looking at the top side. He's coming in. He's going to reach the drones. The drones are being pulled away. Templars are reloading at the same time as well. Templars are storming. Drones are running away. Drones are... He dodges back into the storm and he loses 12 drones. That is disastrous. He does defend the front there though, but his minerals are at an all-time low and his drones are... Well, he has almost no drones left. Let's just say it like that. He has almost no drones left. And almost no units either. He's on 77 supply, and he's facing a pretty strong Shin here, who is pretty rich with 70 probes in total. Another drop there coming in. This one is a real drop, I think. No, also a fake one. He's just sending it in, using his superior multitasking methods and ability to force Hamburgersasu to keep pulling the drones off the minerals, while actually just mostly focusing on his frontal attack. Hamburgersasu now with 30 drones. He does have a Spire on the way to snipe those shuttles with Scorches, but these Dragoons there are getting micro backwards, buying the Reavers more time to shoot on the Hydras, but the Hydras are winning the fight up until, of course, these 2 Reavers get another couple of shots off and win the fight. Shin's base, not looking pretty, but he's spending his minerals well. He's on 2,000 minerals though, but he's making every bit of mineral count so far. He's gotten results on every single attempt, and he's done some great stuff with those attempts. The results have really slowed down Hamburgersasu, who now has a lot of Scorches to try and defend, but this is too many shuttles to defend against. He's still loading units there on the bottom side. There's no Templars or Reavers in there. This is just a distraction drop to be annoying. There's no other drop there coming in, although this one is coming. This one has Templars in it, and he misses the Scorches by a mile. Templars are storming. Templars are hitting all the drones, and once again, he loses a lot of drones there, but keeps 32 of them alive. I think he had about 40, so he lost about 8, I think. I think he lost about 8. He is there on the middle, not yet pushing through, because they cannot shoot around the corner. So this Reaver, this Sunken here, is being very annoying. Making it so that he cannot keep pushing, but he's once again sending out another drop. The drops are non-stop, constantly flying in from every single direction. From the front this time around, and this time around he's focusing on the top one, but the one from the front is the real drop. Temples are reloaded, Temples are storming, and yeah, that's the game. Hamburgersasu calls GG as he loses his drones once again. That's a total of 26 drone kills. That hurts. Now, that just hurts so much. So yeah, Shin doesn't build a lot of buildings. He has 2,600 minerals, but he does spend his minerals quite well. I mean, the minerals that he spends them well. And the minerals that he has spent, he uses it well, too. So the money is not going into mindless attacks, it's going into very well crafted and coordinated attacks that are very hard to keep up with for the Zerg. As we saw right there, the drop play was really good from Shin. Hamburgersasu should have already lost earlier into the game, because he pretty much just got away with pulling his drones away very late, only because Shin missed storms by an inch. Now that's, in my opinion, somewhat lucky. So yeah, let's move on to the fourth game between these two players. And first do this. Bow, bow, and update the score of player 2, which is Shin. Now 1-2 in favor of Shin. Let's find the replay. Let's find that replay. It's gonna be a Zerg versus Protoss with Shin on the Zerg. Should be kind of exciting to behold. Should be kind of exciting to behold. The game is loading up. I really hope Shin can last longer than Hamburgersasu did that game. Hamburgersasu played well, but he didn't have what it takes to stand up to the speed in the play of Shin, who had, I mean, I've said it already, his execution was really well done. He did every single step along the way, and he did all the steps well. He executed them well, with precision, and with a lot of thought behind it. He didn't waste things. He tried to get as much out of his units as he could. The micro wasn't always perfect, but he did achieve what he intended to do. Now, a little point of interest here is that Shin is going for no choke. No choke, he's not joking around, he's not going for a choke, he's not walling off his front. And Hamburgersasu is actually, by accident, somewhat playing into it, because he's going for a Nexus first, which gives Shin some room to make this build order work. Now, I do have to admit that the +1 Nexus build order is the most common build order in the Korean 1 versus 1 community, because it gives you a lot of economy. And if you then go for 3 gateways or something like that, you also get a lot of units. So it's kind of a mix, and around 6 minutes and 7 minutes into the game, you become really, really strong. Hamburgersasu here is deviating from the usual by going for a choke, adding 2 canister in the front to keep Shin out. Which means that Hamburgersasu is going for a delayed gratification, he's going for a delayed time bomb. But that delayed time bomb might be exactly what Shin needs. Because Shin went for 2 hatcheries into a pool, into a 3rd hatchery. And usually we see a hatchery into a pool, into a hatchery. So that already means that he will have a little bit more production ability if he went for a choke on a 9 hatchery, 9 pool, 9 hatchery. Instead, we're looking at a 9 hatchery, 9 hatchery, 9 pool. Into, I think, about a 12 hatchery. As the 3rd added hatchery for a total of 4. And that's going to scale well for Shin. And as he finds the choke here, I'm sure, well, he hasn't found it yet. He doesn't know. He hasn't seen it yet. He hasn't scouted his opponent either. There's he sees the Zealot though, but he does still not know that Hamburgersasu is right next to him. Zealot is entering the fray. Adds on hatchery number 5. He has some Zerglings coming out as well. And keeps on adding drones. He's got 17 of them finished, and he's got number 18 and 19 already on the way. Well, he's got number 17, 18, and 19, and 20 on the way. That's a Hydra's Den coming out very early. That's going to give him some early punching power, but we're already looking at a Hamburgersasu who has 26 probes, mining minerals and mining gas. And now he's finally adding on his gateways. There's a Pioneer in the back as well. He only has 2 cannons in the front still, which might not be enough. Looking at somewhat of a low money or a normal map build order from Shin here. Although he did lose, I think, about 2 or 3 drones there to the Zealot, so good move with that 1 Zealot. Gets 150 minerals in damage down on Shin for only 100 minerals. which you might consider somewhat of a punishment. Corsair coming out. It's gonna kill this Overlord there, and it's gonna kill more Overlords out of the map for sure, although Shin is already pulling back most of his Overlords to safety. And I'm sure Hamburgersasu does not know that this Overlord there exists, so only this one will pay for the scouting with its life. Information in exchange for a life. Whether that's worth it, I'm not sure. I mean, from an ethical point of view, it might not be worth it. But in the context of the game, it's definitely worth it to just throw away a single life for some information. It's worth it. It's for the greater good. The Overlord will be remembered for its valiant efforts to provide that little bit of information that might just change the pace and the fate of the future of Zerg kind. Circling scouting in the front. There's a couple of Zealots in the front, so the Corsair is not really managing to kill anything, because of course the Hylids are protecting. And the bit of information that Shin got with the Overlord Scout means that Shin doesn't need a lot more Hylids. He can kind of just keep droning up. Although he's not droning up. He could be droning up though. You can afford it, because the time window exists. You can safely afford to drone up, but he might be planning on going for a counter-attack or a timed attack once he has a Hylist range to try and break through the front here. Which is a realistic option he has to try and finish the game early. The Hamburgersasu, I think, does know that Shin is up to exactly that maneuver. He might know. Because he's adding on more cannons. He's got 4 already finished. He's adding 2 pilots in the front to try and keep his Hylisks away. He's now moving out with the Zealots, but the Zealots are going to move into a large group of, I think, about 30 Hylisks, and they're going to regret their choice instantly. Hamburgersasu, though, does not want to let this chance go unpunished, so he goes for the Overlords, but the Overlords are hanging on top of the Hylisks to, of course, detect Dark Templars, if Dark Templars do exist, but also to keep them safe away from the Corsairs, because where the Hylids are, the Corsairs cannot exist, because the Corsairs will get taken down quick. Now Shin decides to still commit to the fight. He's going to try to kill this one Overlord there. 2 Overlords on the side do go down, which now means that Shin has left the supply room. More cannons coming out in the front. Shin is going to try to break through. Shin is attacking. Shin is on the attack. Shin breaks in, but there's so many Zealots now that are joining the cannons in defending. The Hylids are microing backwards. The Zealots are now leaving cannon range, but they're still killing a lot of Hylisks. And now we're looking at 52 probes against 28 drones. And I think that Shin went for the wrong option to make mass Hylisks when he had, I think, about 4 minutes to just freely make drones, and instead he's now losing Overlords to the Corsairs while the Hylids are away from the base. There's a couple of them back in there in the base, but not sure if that's enough. So Shin is really small at the moment. Does have more drones being added onto the minerals, but not sure if it's going to be worth it. But Hamburgersasu still has very little offensive ability. He does not have Zealot speed yet. It is on the way though. It is being researched. Does not have level 1 armor or weapon. He has level 1 armor on the way though. But level 1 weapon is finished. So he's got level 1 weapon finished, level 2 armor, level 1 armor on the way. Zealots are getting baited into a conflict, but they want none of that. They want to be neutral. So they pull back, retreat. Robots are finished, they're in the front. We've got Templars Archive finished as well. We've got a fleet beacon on the way for disruption webs, I'm sure. He's adding on more gateways as well. So Hamburgersasu slowly advancing into the future. And Shin is trying to catch up on his economy because of his failed Hylisk attempt. Although he's still at the moment only on 38, 39 drones. He does have Overlord transportation on the way, or Overlord speed. Maybe he's going for both at the same time, although he hasn't queued up the other yet. So we have... Okay, he's got both of them queued up. He's going for an Overlord drop to drop some Hylisks and Lurkers on the minerals of Hamburgersasu. But before that happens, Hamburgersasu might already be reaching maximum supply capacity. And all Hamburgersasu has to do is fly his Corsairs in to get a grasp and a hold onto the situation. Because if he sees these 2 layers, he knows that drops are incoming, and he will make massive amounts of cannons all around his nexuses and protect his Nexine. But first, Zealots are moving out. We've got 3 groups of Zealots ready to attack. 2 Dark Templars there in the base as well to defend. All Shin has to do is basically ball up his Hylids and go for the offensive and defend. And does so really well. It keeps the Hylids there in the front, keeps the Zealots away, and prevents any damage from happening. If Hamburgersasu pulls back, Knows he cannot take the fight, he needs something more, he needs something bigger. A lot of cannons now being added on all around the Nexus. He knows the drop is probably coming because it is a realistic option. More drones have been added onto the minerals as well for Shin. He's got lurkers on the way, his lurker aspect is finished, and transportation and speed both have also almost finished. He finished speed, transportation is still on the way. Ventral sacks, adding 2 hatches in the front, functions as a wall, basically. And now Zealots can only walk through this tiny little space. So this is a very smart move from Shin. Also morphs 2 lurkers in the front just to make sure Zealots can never ever get through. More robots are being added on for Hamburgersasu, more pylons, more gateways, more everything that he needs. But the cannons that he has there in the back might not be enough. How many Overlords is Shin going to use for that Overlord drop? I only see 4 Overlords here. Now he has 7 of them. Now he has 9 of them. All of this might soon be... there's number 12. So 12 times 4 is the amount of units that he's going to send over. 12 times 4. A total of 48 units ready to enter the fray and wreak some havoc on this economy of Hamburgersasu, who has been sitting on 76 drones for, I think, about a minute now, and is just calmly adding onto space. This is probably the most passive game, while also the least passive game. Both players have tried to make things happen, but it's pretty much just pulled into a situation where neither player can afford to pull the trigger up until this moment. This moment is going to change the fate of the game as the mass drop is coming in. Forces are running back to the base and trying to go over, recording a low, but the probes are running away as well. Lurkers are not unloading right next to the probes. The lurkers are too far away from the probes, so no probes are going to go down. This is amazingly close. If those lurkers just so happen to unload closer to the probes would have all died. But no, it doesn't happen. Not today. The probes all stay alive. The highlights go down, the lurkers go down, and the damages have been kept to an absolute minimum, as only 4 probes in total have been killed by that Overlord mass drop. Goes for a second run though. He goes for a second attempt. He has a lot of pilots and lurkers ready to be loaded up and flown over the hill. He flies over the hill. He's still going to go for the probes, but this time around there's so many Zealots and Templars that I never see this working out. A small detail is that Hamburgersasu has no observatory, so no... Oh wait, no, probes are going to go down! He pulled the probes away way too late he thought the lurkers would die before they could burrow up, but no! He killed 50! He kills 50 probes. 50 in total have gone down, and that is Disaster Strikes. Disaster Strikes once again. Hamburgersasu makes a massive mistake. Another overload drop coming in over the hill. This is... Shin is not giving up. Shin is not giving Hamburgersasu any time to recover from anything whatsoever. Most of the Zealots have gone down to the lurkers. The highlights there are wreaking havoc as well, and more units are going to be flown over the hill. The Micro comes down on the highlights. The Micro is... He's trying to Micro, he tried to Micro, now he's just, letting the units die as he's focusing on getting a bigger base there in the back. Still only on 48 drones, but he has a lot of hatcheries being added on. It's a total of 9 hatcheries morphing, and he's adding on even more. Another drop there already coming in, and Hamburgersasu is caught with his pants down as he has nothing to defend himself. So now he's observers as well. More lurkers burrowing next to the probes. Probes are running away, probes are staying alive, probes are safe. And he's fighting back valiantly, he's making it work. He loses no probe this time around, loses almost nothing on that drop, but his economy is absolutely destroyed. There's not much left of his economy, and Hamburgersasu is starting to realize that he made a massive mistake. Multiple massive mistakes this game, and Shin is coming out on top. The first mistake Hamburgersasu made was getting a choke and not going for 3 gateways right after he made the Nexus. He played this one way too passively and never put any pressure up on Shin, who's now simply very... Oh, this disruption web there is absolutely massive, but no Templars are unloading. Oh, Shield is on the chase. Shield is on the chase. There's a Templar in there still. He's waiting for the drones to fly backwards. Another drop. No, that's Corsair's just harassing. The shuttle is flying away, gonna try to find a way in there, but no, he cannot find a way in there. He had one chance to unload and storm, but he didn't take it. And after a journey away and to the minerals for those drones, the drones all stay alive, and he's on 70 drones now, and he's pretty rich, pretty comfortable, and looking at a winnable game. This game looks very winnable for Shin. Corsair there, scaring the Overlords away. Looks like Hamburgersasu knows that the Overlord drop is coming. He's now on 47 probes in total. He's managed to recover somewhat, but he's only on triple. Well, he's on triple Nexus now, so that's 3 probes per 14 seconds. He's hanging in there, but the roles have been reversed. This hill is the one that either of these players, one of them, will die on. Both players are prepared to die on this hill, but which one will it be? This hill has been the deciding geographic location these players have been fighting around. The drop comes in. Now do note, there's I think about 20 lurkers there defending, and I don't think it's ever going to land a single drop. He throws down disruption webs there though to try and get his Templars to be able to storm, but no, not going to happen today. The fighters there being added into the mix. We've got Consume on the way, and of course, Hydralisk and Zergling upgrades on the way as well. Overlord is level 1-1 for the Hydralisk, and Hamburgersasu level 1-1-2. Is level 3 weapon on the way, but no armor or shields are currently being researched. He's still recovering from that terrorist attack from the Zergling Nation on those poor probes that simply wanted to mine lovely minerals. But no, not today. No. 93 drones for Shin. He's pretty darn rich. He's only mining from 6 gazers though, which is, not optimal, but he's making it work because he's mostly just making lurkers, Hydralisk, and defilers. And for exactly those units, you don't need that much gas. If you wanted to mix it up to more expensive units like Guardians, for example, and Mulisks, you would need a lot more gas, but currently he's doing completely fine. Hydralisk up on the hill, abusing the high ground advantage. Cute move, but not sure. He was doing it for the Corsair, so he got the Corsair, but well, he can afford to lose those Hydralisks. His income is so big. He does have Guardians on the way now. His gas has plummeted. And because his gas has plummeted, he has added on 4 more extractors for a total of 10 extractors, which is, of course, massive amounts of gas income that should enable him to pretty much throw out any combination of attacks that he wants or desires. Hamburgersasu now on 74 probes, almost back on 76. Now starts adding on a lot of cannons, still throwing in drops, but there's so many Guardians, so many lurkers, that the drop might never work. He finds a little spot to storm from, kills 3 drones, that is kind of a disappointment. Kills another 5, 6, 7, 8. He kills a lot of drones on the gas, kills a bunch of Mulisks as well. So the drone count went down from 93 to 79. That's a total of 14 kills. Not a lot, not big. And actually, I think this helps out Shin more than it hurts him. Because, having 79 drones is perfect. Anything above 70, I think is a little bit too much. Like 70, in my opinion, is almost the perfect number. But the Guardians now are being a loyal, big, royal pain in the ass. Using that same hill we've been talking about all game to abuse the side of Hamburgersasu's base. Reavers in the front there are pushing at the same time. There's no more lurkers in the front. They've all been pulled away. Guard Templar in the mix as well, but it's gonna, die pretty quick because there's detection above the Sunkens. He just wants to get rid of the Dark Templars because they don't serve a purpose anymore. Guardians are clearing a path, clearing open terrain, killing cannons, forcing the Dragoons away. The Dragoons are trying to commit to the fight. Because there's Devourers hanging behind the hill, Hamburgersasu cannot make Corsairs to defend himself against those Guardians. He needs to use Templars and Dragoons, but drop comes in. Now the question is, are there lurkers in there? Lurkers are in there, probes are not running away. There's so many Dark Swarms coming out. There's Plague as well. Dark Swarm and Plague on the Nexus. And this is going to be deadly. It's going to be painful. He's going straight for the Nexus. Storms are coming down right next to the Nexus, trying to save the Nexus from the lurkers and the Hydralisk that are beneath it. But there's still 1 unit under there. There's still 1 unit. Oh, it's the Plague. The Plague is killing. Oh, all it takes is a single hit. The shield is gone, thanks to the lurkers and the Hydralisks, and the HP of the Nexus has been lowered down all the way to 4, thanks to the Plague. So that was an absolutely masterful move from Shin there. That was absolutely beautiful. He lost, I think, about 15 probes as well. He still is alive, somewhat and somehow, barely. He's holding on by a thread. But the game is 100% in Shin's hands. Shin is just dominating this game because Hamburgersasu just hasn't been playing that well. I honestly have to admit, Hamburgersasu has not played this game that well. Drop comes in. Drop is not gonna storm. The Templar gets taken down. The front there is still getting pushed by the Reavers. Reavers having trouble because the Reaver AI is not that smart. The Reavers are rolling into the distance of the Sunkens and not shooting. That's very, very annoying and bothersome, really. But once again, a drop there being loaded up. He's just been using this hill advantage so well. Usually we don't see this happen. Usually the Protoss is just dominating, but Shin has been pulling all the exact right moves. He has been absolutely destroying Hamburgersasu. Now he's going to unload in the base, ignoring the Nexus. He's going to unload on top of gateways. He's going to keep up the pressure. The Reavers in the front, pushing through as well, but he's got so many units here sitting in the back that he's completely safe, has nothing to worry about. He can just go for the counterattack anytime he wants. Hamburgersasu there, looking at a hill to climb. Or I should call it a cliff. This is like a large, steep cliff he has to climb up on, but it looks more impossible as the game goes on. It's starting to look more and more impossible. Storms coming down on the Hylids. Hylids are blocking the Storms. The Storms are pushing the Hylids into more micro-maneuvers, but eventually the micro is not enough as there's too many Storms. Once again, another massive drop, but this time he's storming the Overlord, so killing most of the units before they unload. And yeah, that's pretty much a failed drop, but at least the Storms on the Templars have been used. And the Overlords were pretty much mostly still alive. He has one Storm remaining, once it's 75, and it's just loading up another Overlord drop. You just have to send this out and attack. Send it out, attack, unload, and it's only one Storm to save the day. And instead of flying into the cannons this time, he's dropping next to them to, you know, make it so that every unit that unloads doesn't instantly die. Now we can attack from the side. Instead, kills the Templars, kills the cannons. This game is over for sure. Hamburgersasu just got dismantled, outpaced, outplayed. He made so many wrong choices. If only he made the right choices this game, he would have won for sure. But he went for really, really poor choices. All the choices he's made this game, I disagree with them. I disagree with almost every single choice. Don't get me wrong, Hamburgersasu is a way better player than I am, and most of the time he makes the right choices, but this game he just played right into Shin's hands. He just played right into Shin's hands. The Guardians there are just the nail in the coffin. Hamburgersasu forced to call the GG and end the game right there. I'm a little bit disappointed in Hamburgersasu's performance, but I'm so very impressed with Shin. Shin played this one so damn well. He played this like one of the best Zergs I've seen in a while. Now do note that if Hamburgersasu just went for the build order that I mentioned, like add a Nexus, then add gateways, Forge, and add more gateways, get one gas, only one, and then you get a Citadel of the Dune after your Cyber Core, and then you get another gas for 2 gas in total, maybe 3, and you just make mass gateway units, because that is how you win against a Zerg that doesn't choke. You just make mass gateway units, and you overpower them with having more money than them. Because by the moment and by the time that you as a Protoss have enough gateway units, the Zerg is in a position where they have to either spend all their money and all their larvae on Hydralisks, or they will die. And eventually, because they're spending all their larvae on Hydralisks, not on drones, your economy as a Protoss becomes so big in comparison that you can just outmass them, outmacro them. Because the Zerg will have less minerals to spend. It's a very simple concept, but that's what it comes down to. The Protoss will have more minerals than the Zerg, and all the Protoss has to do is push and attack, and maybe throw in a drop or two while attacking. Doing what Hamburgersasu did in this game is kind of the opposite of that. You give the Zerg so much time to get big, bigger, and too big. Eventually too big, as we saw right there. Just eventually he becomes too big. That the Zerg just never feels the pressure, never gets punished, never takes damage, never gets harmed, never faces any danger. And if you do that against Zergs of this level, you are going to succumb to the pace, the pressure, and the damage that you endure and face and get subjected to. But we still have more games up in the queue. So let's do the beautiful scene transition once again. And move over to game number 4, 5, and 6. It's 5 and 6, not 4 and 5. It's 5 and 6. Game number 5 and 6. Now, game number 5 and 6 is going to be Terran versus Zerk, and Zerk versus Terran, with Shin currently having a total of 3-1 games. He's won the first one, the third one, and the fourth. Let's switch back over to the match. Getting right in there. Hamburgersasu won the Terran. We're in a cross-map situation with both players on the opposite ends of the map. We've got Shin here on the olive green on the top middle of the map. Speeding up the first 2 minutes. We've got Hamburgersasu here on the bottom side of the map. How is this going to end? How is this going to conclude? Only 2 barracks coming out for Hamburgersasu. Only 2, not 3. Oh wait, there's number 3. It's a little bit delayed. You can give him that. Doesn't really matter if it's a little bit delayed. There's probably a reason for it. Shin going for hatchery pool once again. Adds on the extractor as well. And once again, no choke in the front. So that is apparently the playstyle Shin prefers. And Hamburgersasu might just be getting caught off guard here. He might just be getting caught off guard. He might not be expecting this. But what exactly is Shin going for? He has a couple of options, honestly. Is that another hatchery? That is a third hatchery already coming out for Shin. I've never seen this specifically from a Zerk in Zerk versus Terran. Now this Marine is going to find his opponent, and his opponent has no Zerklings yet. Pool finishes, but there's no larva. No larva for... Well, now he has some larva. Marine against 2 drones. The drones, of course, win that fight, so the Marine is running away, trying to at least buy some time, get some stuff happening. Got Zerkling speed now queued up, so he's going for Zerkling speed mass. Might go into lurkers later on into the game, or Hydralisks, I'm not too sure. He's going to try to get something done with those Zerklings with speed, but there's a bunker being built here in the front. Hamburgersasu is getting some damage out on the Zerklings. The Marines are getting picked off there though, but the drones are pulled off the minerals, which is a death sentence. This is the death sentence. He has to pull the drones to scare those Marines away. Losing drones, losing Zerklings is pretty much the end of the game already. Like, there's not much Shin can do in this situation anymore. Marines are entering the base. Zerklings are trying to get on the Marines, but the Marines are pulling back before that can happen. He's gonna ball up more and more Marines. Zerk speed soon finishing. More Zerklings on the way as well. He is supply blocked at the moment though, because he was focusing on defending with the drones. Now, Hamburgersasu is simply just adding on an academy, getting stim upgrade, and mostly just making Marines. That's all he has to do. Medics coming into the mix as well. He might even add on some fire bats. Shin is going for burrow upgrade because he has to kind of trick Hamburgersasu into overextending. And the only way he can make it work in this situation is making his Zerklings, or burrowing his Zerklings somewhere and waiting for Hamburgersasu to walk over those Zerklings. Then you unburrow the Zerklings while the Marines and Firebats and Medics are on top of them. And you pretty much have an instant surround on those Marines. But the burrow upgrade is not yet finished. Zerglings are pulling back to the base, but we already have Marines on the way. Leading the charge. These Marines though... Oh, this might be disastrous. He gets a Firebat. He goes for the base. This is going to be a base trade. We're looking at it. No, he's not going for a base trade. He's going for the offensive move here. Wait, the Firebat there. The Firebat. Going via the butt. Going for the drones. No. He's going to go for the drones. No, he's just killing units. He's not going for the drones. He's going to go. He's going to go. He's going to go. Estale's still alive. It's blocked. He's getting blocked. The Firebat's getting blocked. Yeah, all the units from Shin have just gone down there within the blink of an eye. Drones going down as well, and he calls GG, and that's the win for Hamburgersasu, who now is back in... Only has 1 win. Now he has 2 wins. And that game is pretty self-explanatory, and I don't have to say much about it, really. I don't have to say much about it at all. I'm just gonna have to update the score here slightly, 2-3. Now we're going to the final game, another Terran versus Zerg. And I hope that Hamburgersasu has a better performance this time. Performance from the Protoss versus Zerg game that he played just really disappointed me. Now, the performance from that Terran versus Zerg was pretty good, but it was mostly because Shin was way too greedy. That was just extremely, extremely greedy. Going for 3 hatcheries, or well, 2 hatcheries before a pool in a Zerg versus Terran situation. And I've almost never seen that work out well for the Zerg. Almost always works out in favor of the Terran. But this final game might give us different results. At least I hope so. Both players are right next to each other. We're going to speed up the first couple of minutes, because there's not a lot to say when the income is so small and their options are so limited. We all know it. Just a full minute of looking at money coming in, slowly but surely. Now this has me worried. I am already worried about this match. Hamburgersasu is doing the exact same thing. Hatchery, hatchery, and then a pool. Or is it going to be 3 hatcheries? That would be absolutely madness, though. 3 hatcheries would be absolute madness. But I don't think he is that insane. Well, I guess he is. I guess he's absolutely insane. He is absolutely insane. Already getting scouted as well, 2 minutes into the game. So I'm just going to call it right now. His chances of winning are even lower than Shin's chances were last game. Because this build order is just bonkers. It's just next level of insane. Pulls off 3 drones to kill the SCV before it finishes the bunker. Not really... SCV stays alive. Gonna do some harassing. Marines are on the way as well. He has 3 barracks, got an academy as well in the works. Marine arrives on the scene, gonna try to catch the Marine first with those drones, but the income is negligible from Hamburgersasu right now because he has no gas and he only has about 6 drones mining minerals. Now he can fight those Marines with the drones, but he's deciding against it. Almost bunker gets cancelled. Pool almost finishing. Marines are harassing. Drones are pulled off the minerals. We have Sunken Colony on the way. We've got Zerkers on the way as well, but not a lot of them. Not a lot of them. Oh, now a lot of Zerg. No, it's drones. He's making more drones. He's making more drones. Well, considering he lost a lot of them, it's understandable. He wants, of course, to have more drones for more money. But... well, he also has a lot of larvae, so he can make a lot of Zerglings. But I don't think this has any chance of working anymore. This is kind of just like... they both just went for really bad Zerg build orders. That only works if the opponent is very, 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 very far away and finds you very, very late and you have everything up and ready. But if the opponent is pretty close or can find you pretty quick, this is pretty much like a death sentence in the making by your own hands. He's holding on though, but he's broke. The supply is almost half of Shin's. We already know where this is going, and I sincerely hope to be proven wrong. But I probably will be proven right. He's looking for another angle to go in and attack. He can kill the hatchery there on the side. Lair is on the way. Drones are spawning. He found the spot. He found the spot. There's no sunken protecting that hatchery. The hatchery will go down. Hamburgersasu knows he's going to lose the hatchery, so he's not even going to try. We now have more Zerglings on the way. More Marines on the way as well. Medics entering the mix as well. Speed is now on the way. Notice that the speed is much later and slower than Shin's, because Shin only went for 2 hatcheries instead of 3 before the pool. Zerglings now on the way. Zerglings are committing to the fight, but there's too many Marines, and they have medics as backup. More Marines of Firebats on the way for the base. We're looking at 8 Marines, 3 Firebats, 3 medics, and more Firebats on the way from the base, and those Zerglings have pretty much already been rendered useless. And now it's only a matter of time before Shin died. Shin kills Hamburger. Firebat's on this way from the other side. Gonna get on top of the drones. The drones are gonna have to run away. Drones are going down. 6 drones down there, and more drones. No, the remaining drones are stay alive. Only 12 of them are left, and now the Marines are coming in from the other side to finish off the deal, to finish off the prey. He's hunting. He's playing with his food, dancing back and forth. Is he gonna get there? Not yet. Hamburgersasu hangs in there. More Marines and Firebats are on the middle, but this is a very slow and sadistic playstyle. Shin. We've got a Lurker queued up. Well, Lurker aspect is queued up. 2 Hylas are on the way. He's gonna go for another run on the drones. No, he goes straight for the Sunkens, and all he has to do is kill 2 Sunkens, and he has access to the lair. He's gonna kill this one and then finish off the lair by pulling back a little bit. No, he's just gonna go hardcore. Oh yeah, he pulls back out of the range of the Sunken. And now all he has to do is attack the lair, and the lair goes down, and the Hamburgersasu will lose the series with 2 wins and 4 losses. He tries one last valiant effort. The Marines are getting micro backwards quite nicely, and the Zerglings have died. No Zerglings are left alive. Well, he has 4 of them, but it's pretty insignificant. More Zerglings spawn. Zerglings are going to try to get us around, but the Marines are too strong with the state upgrade, and Hamburgersasu calls GG, and Shin style comes out on top in this 6-game series where they play all the available matchups except the mirror matchups. And Hamburgersasu shows that he is either out of shape or too arrogant. Or I don't know, he just did very, very weird things in every single game, honestly. Every single game was weird. Except the Terran versus Zerg that he played. That was very standard. The Protoss versus Terran that he played, he was too focused on going for the mind control to really use his race, the Protoss. He won with the Terran there at the end in that game. But he was so focused on doing things that he normally wouldn't do that I think he would have had a better chance at winning this if he just did the standard usual stuff. But instead, Shin style comes out on top. He comes out victorious because he's stuck to the conventional build orders that you usually would be doing in 1v1. Except, of course, that 2 hatchery pool. That's just out of this world. That's just completely something else. So yeah, thanks for watching. That was me, RJB, for RJB TV. And we're looking at a score of 4 wins for Shin. So update that one. And that means we've come at the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this series of games, this 2-part video series between Shin and Hamburgersasu, also known as 뚜까랜덤. Please give their channels a visit. I will put them down in the description below. And most of all, I hope you enjoyed this. I did. The games were exciting. Even the last 2 games had something exciting about them. Even though the end result for the last 2 games was pretty much already set in stone by the moment I saw the pool timing for either player. I just knew that the game was over. And thanks for watching. See you soon. Oh, wrong one. Woohoo, that one. Goodbye.